Yo, what's going on, everybody? Hopefully, I waited enough time before I started talking. I give it 5 seconds from the time that I hit the live button. We'll see if that was enough time. But today is Monday, June 13th, 2022, and it's time for another live stream. It's good to be back home, guys. I spent a whirlwind weekend going to Columbus and Baltimore. Had a lot of fun. The video about it is up now. I'm really excited about that video. I've been having a lot of fun making these. I actually rewatched them a bunch of times too because I just enjoy them a lot. So hopefully you guys are enjoying them too. But man, it is good to be back home. And because it is a Monday today, we're going to do a Monday mukbang of some things that I had left over from my trip. I didn't have time to go shopping for some supplies for today. So the things that I didn't eat from my trip were a Quest cookie, a protein cookie. I've never had one of these before, but we'll try one of these. I bought it at the airport. And then also I got one of these as a sample at the Believe in the Run party. SaltStick. I don't know if they just started making these or what, but it's electrolyte drink mix. I've actually had one of them already when I was in Baltimore. And you guys know I like a mango flavor, so I thought I would have one on the show with you guys. So let's say hi to everyone listening on the podcast on the audio only version. Hopefully you guys are having a good run out there today. It's going to be heating up here in Chicago, and hopefully wherever you are, it's not too hot. I overdressed for my run this morning, I got to tell you. And everyone watching this on YouTube later, welcome. Hopefully you guys have snacks that are a little bit more put together, because I wouldn't eat the chocolate chip cookie and the electrolyte drink mix normally at the same time. So hopefully you got something a little bit more structured, or at least more well paired than these things are. All right, let's see who we got here in the chat. All right, so Frank and Jody said the perfect timing, perfect waiting time for today. All right, so I'm gonna give it like a solid 5, almost a 6 count before I start talking. I feel like one day it's going to start early because I hit the button and then it says, it starts processing and it says, all right, now you're live. I feel like one day it's gonna go right away, and it's gonna end up that like you guys are staring at me count to 6. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Pete G is here, says, hi, Kawuzi, happy Monday. No running for me today as I walked all over London Sunday and legs feel tired still. Well, that sounds like a really good reason to have tired legs. So hopefully that was a good day for you. Thomas is here. Good to see you, Thomas. Great to meet you over the weekend. I had to meet a lot of people over the weekend. It was a lot of fun. And Dave Y says, afternoon, everyone. It's plenty hot here in the Midwest. So I hope you're staying cool. Well, got to stay cool is one thing, but you got to keep those electrolytes topped up as well. Tracy Smith says, hi all, got a nice recovery this morning before the heat hits Chicago. Yeah, I think it's going to be super hot this evening. And tomorrow it's supposed to be like in the 90s, heat index in the 100. So it's going to be hot and humid tomorrow. And that reminds me, tomorrow, I'm not gonna do a live stream tomorrow because tomorrow is kindergarten graduation. I thought that I'd be okay with it schedule-wise, but I didn't realize that not only is there a kindergarten graduation, then there's a party after the kindergarten graduation, and then there's an after party because different groups are putting them on, like the room parents. They call themselves the room moms, but I don't really like to be gender exclusionary, so the room parents are putting it on. That's one of the parties, and then like a different group is putting on the other party. Grandma and grandpa are coming. So I think I'm going to be busy during live stream time tomorrow. So no live stream tomorrow. And just so you guys know, Tracy Smith is the charity runner of the week this week. She's been doing a 20 miler as part of the Fox Valley Marathon later in the year. And she's raising money for Just Roots, a local charity that works on providing locally grown sustainable foods to the Chicagoland community. So pretty cool to have some charity runners of the week in the chat today. Not that today was the only time Tracy's been here. All right, let me scroll down a little bit and catch up to you guys. Martha says, your trip looked like so much running community, eating, drinking, shoe, geeking out fun. That's a great, if I could put it into one word, that's the one word that I would use. It was a lot of fun. I had a great time. Like Columbus was a lot of fun because it was just meeting a lot of new people. Although it's a kind of like meeting new people that works well for me because like I knew Bob already from ASICS. You guys know who Bob is. Bob Bob's been making the rounds on all the channels lately too. But I've known Bob for a little bit already. I've run with him a couple of times, so I knew he would be there. And I met Colina, who was there as well from ASICS. I met her out at LA. And so like having like some people that you know to kind of like tether things while I meet other people is kind of like makes it a lot easier. If it was just like go there and like, you know, we emailed like the Columbus Rumbling Company guy and you'll go meet him, that would have been really not overwhelming, but whelming for me. It would have been tough. So it was good. It was really good. And then believe in the run, then on the following day was, you know, very comfortable because I knew most of the people and I did meet a lot of new people as well, but it was just a lot of fun. Super fun. Felt really, I felt very rich isn't the right word. I felt very like sustained, very happy, very, not comfortable is not the right word either, but like just secure. I just felt very secure all weekend. It was really nice. All right. Carlos Griego says, yo, from New Mexico, just back from an Alaska cruise. Nice. Running on the ocean via treadmill was fun and different. Ooh, yeah, that's cool. Were the treadmills like on outside? Because I ran on a cruise ship before too, but it was like in a room. And that actually kind of made me a little bit motion sick because it was on one of the top decks and you're like on a treadmill and I was like looking down at the water and I was just like, whoa, boy, I don't know if I like this, but that's pretty cool. I'm guessing, was it hot up there? I always feel like Alaska's always cold, but I know that's not true. And Tracy said, thank you so much for choosing Just Roots as the charity this week. Well, that's awesome. I emailed you back, Tracy, and I did tell her that because she thanked me already. And then I was like, you know, as a runner, food charities have a special place in our heart. So it's nice to be able to connect with a special charity like that. So very cool. Very cool. All right, let's keep scrolling down and catch up to you guys. All right, Runner Will is here. He says, what's good, everyone? And the Z-Town fan says there's an after party for the kindergarten graduation. Awesome. CD76 wants to know if it's BYOB. You know, if it were in Iowa, I would give it 50-50. Because like there's a cooler of Busch Lights everywhere you go in Iowa. Here, I'm not sure. I don't think that's going to be a BYOB party. I think that they'll just be soft drinks, if anything. I'm not really even sure. I'm not sure about it. My wife knows more of the details than I do on this one. So I'm just kind of like going along for the ride. So it'll be fun. All right, let's get into, oh my goodness, this is funny. I just saw this. Martha says, kindergarten graduation. My mom saved my diploma, which states Martha Aarons has successfully learned to play. I mean, that's really important, you know, if I'm kindergarten. So that's great. That's great. It's like your certificate of achievement. I love it. Very cool. All right, let's get to the first one for today. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this stuff started first, get it mixed up, and then I'll dive into the cookie. So SaltStick Electrolyte drink mix. You guys know what SaltStick is, right? They make the salt tabs that you can eat. I always think that I'll need one during a marathon, but then like I'm like, well, you got to put it in like a baggie or something. I don't know how you transport those during a marathon, so I never end up doing it. But we got some numbers here in terms of what the electrolytes actually are. I don't know if I'll be able to get it to focus on this. So we got some sodium, 430 milligrams, 120 milligrams potassium, 44 milligrams calcium, and 22 milligrams magnesium. I feel like those are the electrolytes you look for. All right, and I will say I had tried this over the weekend. I took 2 samples from the party, and it didn't dissolve all that well the first time I did it. And I'm looking around me right now, and I didn't bring anything to start with. So I'm just going to use, I got a pen, so I'm just going to use a pen to do a little bit of stirring. When I drank it over the weekend, I just put it in the water bottle and shook it around a whole bunch. And that worked okay. But I was just like, there was a lot extra at the bottom. So the dissolving is not as good as I think it could be. But I can smell it already from here. It's a very strong smell and a very Good flavor, I'll tell you. All right, while we're waiting for that, I'm going to let that dissolve a little bit more, but I'm going to go over this cookie. So a Quest cookie, you guys have seen these before. They're in the grocery stores and everywhere. They're at the airport. I normally don't buy these, but I was just like, the airport, everything's kind of $5, so I'll try it. And it's a protein cookie that has weird sugar math on the back. So here's what it says on the back. It says, a soft and chewy cookie, soft and chewy chocolate chip protein cookie loaded with chocolate flavored chips. Chocolate flavored chips? Does that mean they're not actually chocolate chips? I'm not sure. Weird. Chocolate flavored chips and less than 1 gram of sugar. But if we look at the sugar, the actual carbohydrate number, the carbohydrate number is 16 grams. 19 grams. There it is. Where is it? I can't see. It's not focusing. It's focusing on my finger, the camera. There we go. 19 grams of carbs. But then there's carb math on the other side. 19 grams of carbs, minus 9 grams of fiber, minus 6 grams erythritol, which is the stuff that's in chewing gum, equals 4 net carbs. 4 grams net carbs. Okay, let's say I believe that math. They just finished telling me that there's less than 1 gram of sugar in this. Now, I'm guessing that means that there's less than 1 gram of added sugar. But still, man, this sugar math never makes any sense. But it does say it has 15 grams of protein, 17 grams of fat, 210 milligrams sodium. I thought there'd be more sodium in there, but let's crack into it and see how it tastes. It kind of looks like a regular soft baked cookie. It's floppy. It's bending as I hold it. It smells like health food. It tastes pretty good. It tastes like a chocolate chip granola, like not a granola bar, but like a chocolate chip bar. If no one told me what this was, I would guess that this is a like vegan cookie, gluten-free, maybe a gluten-free cookie, egg-free cookie. A lot of the allergy foods that we eat taste like this. There's something at the end that tastes a little bit fruity. That is kind of confusing me. Don't really taste it until you're just about done with the bite. I don't know what that is, but this is not super delicious. But as a convenience food, I feel like this could be a decent option. Because you're getting a decent amount of protein. It's sugary, or at least it tastes sweet. So I feel like it might hit that craving. And it's like, it's not going to go bad. You could store it in a bag or whatever for as long as you need. For me, I think I would buy these more if they were cheap. But I don't think they're that cheap. So I'm not sure I would get this again. Danny J says, Mike, is it better or worse than the other popular protein cookie brand? What's it called? Like, it's like two guys' names. Yeah, I've seen those. They're all over the place. I'm generally not a fan of the protein cookie format. So I've never tried those before, but I'll probably try those next and see if it's any better. I'm trying to think of what it would compare to. It really does taste like allergy food to me. Because it's like so soft as well. It kind of almost is like, it's like if you undercooked, like the cookies that come in a tube, cookie dough that comes in a tube. If you undercook that, that's kind of the texture and consistency. So it's not terrible, but it's okay. It's like it would hit the spot, but like if this cost more than say like a Kind bar, I would pick the Kind bar every single time. If it cost more than like a Cliff bar every time. I'd rather have the chocolate chip Cliff bar than this any day. But the Cliff bar doesn't have 15 grams of protein, so I think that's the kicker. If you want the protein, then yeah. Duke BB says Lenny's and Larry's. That's it. He said, but that's not very good. Not very good. Well, something to look forward to, I guess. Danny says the Lenny and Larry are gut bombs every time. No bueno. That's funny. I felt like the Quest bars that I've eaten are good. Not my favorite. I don't pick them every single time, but they're good. I wouldn't be like, I guess I'll eat that. And there's some bars that I think that. But the cookies are, it's a cookie. I'll eat it. But it's like they put something kind of like lemon zest, but it's not lemony. But there's something in here. I don't know if maybe it's the erythritol. I'm not sure if you can even taste that. But there's something about this. And I don't think it's that I'm sitting next to this very strong flavored drink. There's something that I'm tasting. Frank says fresh undercooked cookies are the best. See, I like a good crunchy cookie. If I want something softer, I'd rather have a brownie or a blondie. That's kind of my take on it. So if it's going to be in cookie format, I want it to be a little crispy. The only exception to that, I think, would be maybe like an oatmeal cookie. I can take that crunchy or soft. Duke says, my 17-year-old with a dairy allergy likes the Lenny and Larry's, though. All right. I think I'll definitely have to give them a try. Next time we'll do it. We'll do a big flavor profile. We'll go over it. Lou Boy says, great video. Always look forward to the travel vlogs. Thanks. I really had a great time this weekend, and it was a fun video to put together. I was worried that it's like a little bit shorter. I've been trying to, for the travel videos, I'm like, I want to try to make an entire weekend in one video. And I'd like it to be about 20 minutes long. And this one's a lot shorter than that. But I'm like, there wasn't, the one I did in New York, New Jersey, I had a workout that I did, which was part of the video. And then I also had a race that I went to, the Brooklyn half. And then I also watched a track meet. So there was a lot of other stuff in there too. But then again, like this one also had it was different a little bit because of the block party. So there was still an event, but time wise, I let the weekend kind of dictate. I think that's a better way to go about it. How long the video is, but it's been fun. It's been fun. I like the format. I'll get a couple more chances to do it. I'll do one for Denver. And I'll probably make another one for Mammoth Lakes, even though I'm going from Denver to Mammoth Lakes. And then I told you guys this, right? I'm going to be in San Francisco after Mammoth Lakes. So July 6th and 7th or 5th and 6th. I'm not sure. I think the 6th is the date where I'll be doing something with one of the running companies out there. And then I think I'll be there the day before. I'm not sure exactly how it works. Schedule-wise, we actually haven't booked the flights on that one yet. So I'll be in San Francisco too. So I'll probably try to do one for each of those locations. So yeah. So should more of them coming. More of them coming. All right. Let's try this. The SaltStick Electrolyte drink mix. So I have tropical mango flavor, and I feel like this is the most mango flavor of all the sport drinks or electrolyte drinks that I've ever had. Normally I drink the Noon. There's a caffeinated one. I don't think it's like tropical, and it has like a pretty good mango flavor. This has even more. I really like it. Cheers. Yeah, it's good. It's really good. I just really love the flavor of this. There isn't too much sugar in it from what I remember. Yeah, only 3 grams of carbs. So if you're worried about taking in too much sugar during the day, which I feel like if you're marathon training, you probably shouldn't be. But if you're worried about taking in too much sugar today, this is kind of a little bit more sugar than Noon. But they're all day drinkable like Noons are. And you know what I do wish? I wish it had bubbles. But I'm also thinking, you know what? Maybe I can just put this in bubble water. Next time I go to the store, I'm going to get plain bubble water, and I'm going to have to buy myself a case of these because these are good. I could see myself drinking a lot of this stuff and put that into the bubble water. Why don't people do that more often? Why don't people take like, I mean, noon you don't kind of have to, but like, is Gatorade and bubble water good? Has everyone ever done that? Anyone? I don't know. I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna try that too. Innes is here. He says, "Hi, Kabuzi and everybody. Did a 5K with Pip after work today. Pip seemed happy with a 21:04. That's a pretty speedy 5K for an after work run. Nice, good job." And Super Liquor says, "Thoughts on the Beacon being discontinued by New Balance? Also, possibly ideas on replacements." Yeah, I think that it's a shame because I liked the Beacon, but then again, it wasn't a shoe that got me excited in version 3 and not even that much in version 2, I think, to be honest. I love version 1. And then version 2 and 3 were like, these are a lot of the same shoe, and so maybe that was the problem. But I was just thinking about it today because the next video that comes out, it won't be tomorrow, but it'll probably be Wednesday, is going to be, I got the 1080 to 100 miles. So I'm going to be talking about the 1080 versus, and probably talk about the 880 as well a little bit in that video. And I think the main difference for me, I mean, there's the obvious difference of the difference in kind of like stack height between the two shoes. But a very big difference is there's like toe spring at the front of the 880 version 12. It curls up a little bit, which makes it really nice for if you're doing strides or even doing a speed workout in the 880, and the 1080 just doesn't have it. And the 880 version 12, it feels like you took like the back of an 880 and the front of a Beacon and kind of put it together, not in a mullet kind of way, but like yeah, I mean, if you want to think of it as a mullet, you can. But like when you get on the toes of it, it just becomes really quick and nimble, a lot like the Beacon was. And so I feel like if you really love the Beacon, give the 880 a shot. I think that might be it for you. But also, like, if you really love the Beacon, I think that like, is the Pacer an option for you? You know? Right, that Pacers, that's New Balance, right? Isn't it? I know that's more of a race-oriented shoe, but maybe that's something that maybe might appeal to you. I haven't tried that one yet, so I'm not sure if that would exactly fit the bill. I do think that the 880 is probably going to be it. Now, in their kind of like casual line, or like their kind of like running / casual line, there's still like a bunch of weirdly named shoes that still exist in there, like Vazzy, Pace, and stuff like that. I don't know if they're still making those, and maybe there's something in there that might kind of like fit the bill. I think they're bringing back the Tempo this year, right? But I don't think that's going to be it in terms of a Beacon replacement. But I feel like the Beacon, I mean, even last year I was like, I don't know how much longer the shoe's going to be around, because it didn't get a very substantial update from version 2 to 3, and everything else started falling into groups, a fuel cell group or a Fresh From X group. And the Beacon still just kind of stood out on its own, being very much by itself. And I was like, that's not the direction New Balance is going. I'm not sure how much longer this Beacon is going to be around. So I'm not super surprised by it. From a sentimental perspective, I'm a little bit disappointed. But practically, I don't think I'm going to miss it being gone, especially because I like the 880 so much. Danny J says, find every company that makes giant protein cookies and we'll compare them together. Well, I only know of 2 and we already established that they aren't good. All right. Well, maybe I got a week. So in a week, we'll do a big cookie comparison over them all. We'll see how many I can find. I went to Whole Foods the other day, and I picked up the kids after school. It was raining. They didn't want to go. All their activities are done, like running is done, dance is done. So I was going to take them rock climbing, but they were all so tired. So we went to Whole Foods as our afternoon activity. But Whole Foods had like 9 different flavors of Go Macro bars. And so I bought like 2 of every one. I mean, they had actually 11, because I didn't buy the peanut butter ones. And there was like a lemon poppy seed. I'm like, that sounds disgusting. So I didn't buy that one, but I bought like 2 of every other flavor that they had that didn't have peanut butter in it. And my wife was very excited. So maybe I'll go back up to Whole Foods to check that out. Martha says cookies and other stuff. She likes a little crunch on the outside, chewy on the inside, like great sourdough bread, to give another example. You know what else is good like that way? French fries. French fries are one of my favorite. I mean, I always talk about pizza a lot, but French fries, I feel like we give them short shrift by relegating them to side dish status. I feel like the Canadians have it right with poutine. Make it a main dish. Put some gravy on there and some cheese. And you've got yourself a fantastic meal. One of my favorite food trucks is basically like a poutine food truck. And that I really think is delicious. But you got to get a nice crisp on the outside, double fried if you can. And then like basically like almost like a mashed potato on the inside. That's how I like it. That's how a lot of the fries tasted when I was in Baltimore. It was really, really good. They didn't all have Old Bay on it, but the ones that I really particularly enjoyed did. All right. Yeah, Martha agrees about the French fries too. Yeah, see? She knows what's up. I'm Happy Pedro says, good afternoon, everyone. Glad to catch up. Live Co. He says the 880 is definitely more speed oriented than the 1080. I'm loving the shoe. Yeah, it's really good. I'm really surprised by it. You know, I always think that that's going to be one of those underrated shoes. That's kind of how I positioned it and talked about it last year. This year, I don't think it. Well, I think it still might be underrated, but I don't think it's like a quiet workhorse anymore. I think it's just a really good shoe. I was listening to the podcast, the Believe in the Run podcast today on my run. Thomas was talking to Connor, and they were talking about, or was it in the beforehand talk? I think it might have been in the beforehand talk, the nonsense part, which is usually my favorite part of the podcast. And they were saying like they were reviewing the Pegasus 39, and they thought that might be the daily trainer of the year. And they're like, maybe the Nova Blast 3, only Brandon at Believe in the Run has it so far. Like they think that might be it. And they're like, what else is there going to be? I think the 880 should be in the discussion. If it wasn't so hot, it's a warm shoe. It looks better than it did last year, but it still doesn't like, it still kind of looks a little bit homely, I think. I mean, I like it a lot, but I think that from a mass appeal perspective, I'm not sure it's on the same level as like a Pegasus or the Nova Blast from an aesthetic perspective. But I just, like, for me, you know, I haven't tried the Peg 39 yet. I wasn't going to, but I think I'm going to order a pair. It's still not available in the US yet, I don't think. I think with the double zoom ear pockets, it just means that much less react. So I feel like I might like it this year. But, yeah. So I think I might like it. So I'll give it a try. I'm probably going to do a Nike Bayou version again, just to get a custom color. Because especially with that shoe, everyone gets the launch colorway, and then all the videos on YouTube are the launch colorway. So then I'm like, I don't want to make another video with that same gray. Gray shoes never look good on my feet. I don't know what it is. Where's a question about the speed? Where'd that go? Oh, Danny says, Nova 3 could be, but more importantly, does Saucony break the speed? That's a good question. I haven't tried it yet. I don't think that one's out yet either. I don't think I know anyone at Saucony to send me one early, but I would love to have one early. But yeah, the way that Connor was talking about it today in that, I don't know if you guys listened to that podcast, but they were kind of like tiptoeing around. They were saying like, we think people that like version 1 and 2 are still going to like version 3, but it's a definitely more versatile shoe than the other two. And I was like, oh, that means like it's more for slower running. So I'm wondering if like they've got, I mean, are they breaking up the capsule? So you got the endorphins, but yeah, I don't know. Are they putting another shoe in there to be like the speed day shoe? I don't know. I don't know what else would go in there. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm intrigued by the way that people are kind of talking about it. Yeah. Nicholas Holland said, so you think Nova Blast 3 was the shoe of the year? That's big talk, and we're halfway there. Must be amazing. It is amazing, number one. But a lot of the shoes that are going to come out have come out. You know, so like there's only a handful that I still haven't tested that I'm like waiting on from like a daily trainer perspective anyway. So it's like, like the Peg 39, that's always going to be a contender. Although I didn't really like the Peg 38. And then, like, what are the other daily trainers that aren't out yet? The Mach 5 I haven't tested yet. People haven't been super excited about it, though, which has me a little bit concerned because I like the Mach 4 so much. I have a feeling I'm just still going to like the Mach 5 a lot. So, like, right now in my mind, it's like potentially, right now it's like Nova Blast 3, 880. The Mach 5 might fit in there somewhere. Maybe the Pegasus gets in there, but I don't know. I haven't tried the Rebel 3 yet, but I don't think from the numbers that I remember hearing for the stack height that it's going to have enough extra stack height there to really be a daily trainer for me. So, I feel like, yeah, there's still some to come down the pike, and there's a lot of race shoes that still I haven't tested yet. But, like, I think that in 2022, it'll be tough for a race shoe to take shoe of the year, just because I think race shoes are awesome. I love them. That's what gets me excited. But, like, I spend time in the daily trainers, So I'm interested in what the Alpha Fly 2 is going to be like. Having a little bit of extra Zoom X underneath the AirPod is an intriguing idea. Callie Ryan says, I recently tried the 880 and the Cumulus 24. It's a toss-up, but the Cumulus 24 had a softer midsole. Saucony Ride 15 felt the firmest, and 880 kind of in between. That's interesting. Well, I mean, the Cumulus, what's the Cumulus now? That's an FF Blast with a little bit of gel in there, right? And then still has somewhat of a thick midsole, thick outsole, I mean. I'm not sure. I still feel like the Cumulus feels more like a workhorse shoe, just like built for durability, comfortable enough though. And then the 880 feels like that's what the 880 used to be like, but now I just feel like it's a little bit more of like, this is more about just pure run experience. I don't know if that's going to come at the expense of durability or not. But some people, even if the shoes, I think some people's preferences are, if two shoes were equally durable, they would still want the one that feels more durable. Which for me, I'm like, if it's anywhere even close, give me the softer one. Like, not softer is not the right word, the springier one, So. Nicholas Holland says, I think people aren't hype about the Mach 5 because the Mach Supersonic was not good. That's what the reviews have come out and say. Yeah, I mean, I didn't get the Mach Supersonic. And then, but I'm like, is the Mach 5 the exact same as the Mach Supersonic, which is a different upper? It seems like a weird way to release those shoes. But yeah. Danny J says, how is it that the low sub running channels are already reviewing the late 2022 releases when the big dogs like Co don't have it yet? Well, I think for some shoes, they're out in the UK. So that's how like a lot of channels are getting to review some shoes. And then, but like some of them, it's like I just don't have contacts at Saucony or New Balance. So it's not because I don't want them. I just haven't sought them out, I guess. So that's all it is. I mean, I'm not really in a rush to review shoes right now anyway. I got grandma's this weekend, so it's not like I'm going to be able to do a lot of good testing right now. And then things are going to be pretty busy from now till Eugene. So like I'm not in a super rush. But I feel like after Eugene, then people are going to be like in the middle of marathon training and like, I need new shoes. Now what do I get? That's when I'm like, I need to have the shoes by like mid-July. So that way I can start cranking out those reviews. Preferably a little bit before that so I can actually run a little bit more in them before I put out the review. I feel like if you're not the first one to do the review, I don't know if I want to do like one run in review anymore. Not that I think that's necessarily bad, but I feel like there's no reason for rushing. So that's kind of like what I think. So yeah, I think that's why it's like some people have it already and I don't. Danny J says, I suppose that explains it. Tommy Runs is here. What's going on, Tommy? He says, Co, you're the man. What's going on? Hopefully, you guys had a good turnout for the 5K for 5 days. It was a fun event. It definitely kept me on my toes during the week, even though I always wore the wrong. I think the New Balance, was there a New Balance day? I think I did the right shoe on the New Balance day. I needed to get that shoe or maybe I wrote no, because the speed workout that I did that week was ultra. I don't think that was an ultra day. But I needed it. I wanted to get the 1080 to 100 miles. So I needed to run in that one every day. So I apologize for not fully investing in it and getting the right brand on the right day. But it was good. I felt like I saw a lot of hashtags going around with the 5K for 5 days. Hopefully the event was a success, Tommy. And I told everyone here that you and I had a discussion about it, that if I won the drawing for shoes, that you weren't going to give me the shoes. And I was like, I'm okay with that. Jody Beck wants to know if the AlphaFly 2s, if they have more zoom under the AirPods, does that mean they will reduce height to stay legal, or will be less than 4mm drop or smaller pods? You know, that's a good question. I hadn't thought about that. I would suppose, I feel like it was like carbon, pods, rubber, right? So, I mean, it's got to be one of those. It's got to be more. What are they going to do about that? I don't know. Are they doing like a millimeter or however much that zoom X is on the bottom? Are they doing like 2mm less zoom X between your foot and the carbon to give room for that? I'm not sure. I think that I thought the drop was going to be the same. I would think the stack height's going to be pretty much the same too. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I'm trying to as much as I'm as excited as I am for it, I'm trying not to look at too much about it. So that way I can kind of just get it as a surprise, run in it, put down my thoughts, and then look at the specs later. You know what I mean? But I'm on social media. People are talking about it. I end up hearing about it. All right, let's see what else we got here. Sean Devlin wants to know, are the Nova Blast 2 wobbly for daily dad shoes? Tried the Cliftons, but they weren't as comfy as the Nova Light 2s, in my opinion. May try the Light 3s. Who was I talking to? Oh, I think it was it Thomas I was saying? It was either Thomas. It was someone that was sitting to my left at dinner. So either Drew Whitcomb or Thomas. Because I think Aldrin was wearing the Nimbus Light 3s to dinner. And someone on my left said, that's a really underrated shoe this year. And I'm like, it is. It's a super comfortable shoe. The Nova Blasts are going to be a lot more wobbly than the Nimbus Light 3s. The Nimbus Light 3s are flight foam. It's not flight foam blast. It's just regular flight foam. So it's a little bit firmer than the flight foam blast is. And that's a wider base too. So are they too wobbly for daily dad shoes? I'd say no. Not for me, but for people, if you prefer the Nova Blast 2 over the Nova Blast 1, this is a complex sentence. If you prefer the Nova Blast 2 over the Nova Blast 1, then the Nova Blast 3 might be too squishy for daily wear, for daily dad wear, which is the question that was posed. Certainly it'll be comfortable, and that's why I feel like they're going to sell so many of these, is because I feel like people that like the running sneaker look and want to wear that casually, basically like Ultra Boost fans, are gonna, because I put this up against Ultra Boost for daily wearing it around. When I say casual use, I assume people mean walking around the mall in it, right? So I feel like if we're walking around the mall, I'm picking Nova Blast 3 over an Ultra Boost for sure. But you can actually run in a Nova Blast 3, and you can do workouts in Nova Blast 3. So I feel like it's a eureka shoe. They've done it. They've cracked the code. I don't know how they've done it. It's that FF Blast material, FF Blast Plus material that they've got in it this year. It's just so good. It could do everything. It feels great. And even for travel, my feet swell a bunch when I'm in an airplane. They were I remember one time I traveled to DC a couple of years ago in a pair of Vomeros. It was the Vomero 14s. I had to take my shoes off because my feet felt like they were going to pop out of the shoes. But the Nova Blast 3, you could do it. So, yeah. It's a good, I rave over the shoe. I think it's just so good. Eric Paramount says daily dad wear would be a great beer name. Yeah, I think that like that. I think that's probably is that the most fun part. I mean, drinking beer is probably the most fun part about being a brewer. But like, if you were a brewer, like I feel like I can't wait to name this next one. Like there must. I mean, I feel like brewers probably all have moleskins. You know those little notebooks that have like that special. I don't know what the material is. Moleskin on the outside. The one with the little elastic that they undo, and they're like daily dadwear. Just like write down a whole bunch of names, like band names. People that like making up fake band names. I feel like they could also probably be beer brewers because the names are always weird like that. Danny J says Seth has me quite interested in the ASICS Noosa 14 if the Noblast 13, the Noblast 3 doesn't work. You know, I've had a pair of Noosas and Evo rides for a little while. I'm gonna hold off on doing the review a little bit, but I'm not like I feel like they're the same shoe this year. Well, every year, right? Except you don't have to wear socks in the Noosa. So I'm kind of interested in that. Is that like that might be a great dad shoe because it has the guide sole, so it's gonna be a little bit more stable around the ankles, which I feel like depending on your level of dadness might be a plus. And if you could wear it without socks in the summertime, that could be a good option. You know, especially if you're like going to the pool. I mean, I'd rather be in slides, but especially the new ASICS slides, which I will be able to talk about soon. The Noosas could be. Is the Noosa the pool shoe? Is it a pool shoe? It could be a pool shoe. It's got good grip, so you know, wet surfaces, you'll be okay. This is a strange hypothetical, but I feel like it's a practical one. Very practical. Nicholas Holland wants to know when the Noblast 3 is going to release. September 1st. So what's funny about that is every time I think about it, I'm like, why is it September 1st? There must be other external reasons why it's not sooner. Because I'm like, if those were on sale now, like you could sell a ton of them for Father's Day. You could sell a ton of them for people. Like people are starting their Chicago Marathon training already. So you figure this year it's like goes like it's like 3 weeks in a row, right? Like London, Berlin, Chicago or something like that, isn't it? Right? It's a crazy schedule again this year, isn't it? So like people are starting to get ready. So like a brand new pair of Noblast 3s would be amazing to have to kick off any of those training blocks. And then just to have it all summer long. And then come September, then another round of new colors. Man, they just sell so many units. And I'm thinking there must be some sort of unfortunate reason why it's not on sale already. I wish it was available now for everybody because you guys would like it. But yeah, that's when it's coming out. But they always tell me like, it's like they're coming out 9/1, which was always the date we were planning on releasing them. People always ask why it's so late, but that's what we always planned. And I'm like, okay, I didn't say anything. But they're like, it was seriously, it was always, it's like September 1st was always the date we picked. September 5th is the date we intended. You know, it's just like a weird Jedi mind trick. So I don't know. I wish they were available now. Adam says, my old running shoes become dad/beach/pool shoes. I'm not wasting money on a new shoe for something like that. No, I agree. But I think that like the question for like, is it a dad shoe is like, can you wear it around? Yeah, I mean, I guess you understand what I mean, but when you're saying dad shoes too. But like right now, my dad, like my casual wear shoe is the Noblast 2s. I'd gotten, I think I ended up having 2 pairs. I'm trying to think if it was 2 or 3 pairs, but I got a second pair of them that Thomas gave to me last year. And I've been wearing those around. And those are just really great for daily living, you know, especially because my kids always have me running, like literally running. Like when we're on the scooters, they won't slow down their scootering for me if I'm walking. So I got to run. So I got to be able to run in my dad's shoes. Vincent wants to know, hi, have you had a chance to try the Saucony Endorphin Speed 3s? I love that colorway. I have not had a chance to try them yet. I'm very excited for them. I love the endorphins. Not all of them. I like the Speed and the Pro. But yeah, you know, people have been saying like, or the reason why I don't like the Endorphin Pros for marathons, because it has properties that make it like the Edge Plus. And I'm like, oh, it could be. I don't really feel the rocker quite as much in the Endorphin Pro 3, but maybe it's a cadence runner, stride runner thing. I don't know. I'm still not 100% convinced on the stride runner, cadence runner thing, but I do know that different runners like different things. And I feel like some people are going to prefer one and some people are going to prefer the other. I think the majority of people are going to prefer the Sky Plus. But some people are going to be like, ooh, this Edge Plus though, that's the one for me. So it's not the one for me, but for some people it could be. And the Endorphin Pro 3, I love for workouts. Like, it's probably one of my favorite, like, mile repeats, threshold work shoe. Raced a half marathon in it, really enjoyed that. But like a full marathon, I don't know. But I'm excited to get the new one. It looks great. It looks like there's more foam, but we'll see if that's just a look. And I don't know if they've tweaked that Power Run PB at all, if it's any softer. I'd like it to be softer, to be a marathon shoe. Adam says, I don't consider the Nova Blast squishy. It feels responsive to me. Nova Blast is great for daily trainers and long runs. Rebel is squishy. I can't do fast or long in it. Oh, that's interesting. I feel like I can't go long in the Rebel. Not version 2. And I haven't tried version 3 yet. I mean, I think I need a good 4 or 5 millimeters more of fuel cell for that Rebel to be a daily trainer. And it is squishy. But I feel like I can go fast in it. See, I think that's where, like, using some of these, like, less specific terms like squishy can be a problem. See, I feel like the word that you're using for squishy, maybe if I'm understanding you, Adam, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, let me know if I'm wrong. But, like, that's how I use the word mushy. Like, certain shoes can be mushy. And it's just like, you step in it and it's like, there's no bounce back. Sometimes I feel like the Bondi can be a little bit mushy. But when I want a Bondi, I want mushy. You know what I mean? I don't know. Someone asked if the ASICS van is going to go international. Where did that question go? Oh, Nicholas wants to know. When is no, that's no last 3 question. There's another one about, CR. Says, do you think the ASICS van is going to go international? I don't think it is, because it's going to go it ends at Eugene. I don't know what happens to the van after that. My guess is that, like, they just strip off all the stickers and then sell the van. I think that's what happens to it. I'm not sure. I don't know. Maybe there's some, like, very, like, idiosyncratic collector that'll buy it as is off of them. I'm not sure, but I'm guessing that they probably wouldn't want that, because then people might be driving around in it and then think that it's an ASICS driver, you know? So I don't know what happens to it after Eugene. I'll ask. But yeah, I don't think it's going international. I think the closest it's going to international is, it looks like there's a Seattle location in there. I thought there was a Pacific Northwest location, but because I thought there was someplace north of Eugene but I could be wrong. And I think the map is changing, from what I understand. So, like, someone was saying that, like, Detroit used to have was it Detroit or was it Minneapolis? I think it was Minneapolis used to have a dot. Now there isn't a dot on Minneapolis. That's what Ben Johnson said over the weekend. I'm not sure. Oh, by the way, so some developments from the weekend. I mentioned it on my TikTok that I made. For TikTok, I'm trying to figure out TikTok. Ultimately, I'm starting to think that TikTok is like a pandemic Snapchat. It got real hot for a minute, and I'm not sure. I don't know how much staying power it has. I'm not sure. That could be a way wrong hot take. But anyway, so I've been trying to figure out, like, how do I make my content different for for TikTok. And so instead of doing what I normally do on, like, my Instagram reels, because I've been doing basically kind of a similar thing for TikTok, I decided to do, like, a quick, like, daily recap on TikTok of my travels. So, like, kind of what I used to do in the vlogs, but in a 2-minute form, and only focusing on the eating. So, like, you know, the YouTube video does, like, eating, the travel, like, all that stuff. The TikTok version of that is pretty much just the eating. A little bit of context for, like, why am I Columbus? You know, that kind of thing, but, like, basically just eating. And on that one, I did mention, like when I went to the Believe in the Run party, that I was talking to Ben Johnson, and he was like, "It's going to be too warm for me to run fast for PR. So you want a pacer?" I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, I'll pace you. You're trying to run under 3." I was like, "Yes." He's like, "Do you want me to pace you?" And I was like, "Yes, I do. Yes, I do." And Megan Murray, who Ben paced Megan to her first sub 3, she was like, "This is a great idea. This is a great idea. You're going to love it." And I was like, "Okay, cool. So I guess we're doing that now." So that's going to be happening over the weekend. I think it's going to be a pretty fun video. It'll be a really fun race. Weather looks great to me. It's going to start in the low 50s, and by the time I'm done, it'll be about low 60s. So I feel like that's good running weather. I don't think it's going to be too humid. I'm not sure about the winds, but, I got my own personal pacer now, so I can just have Ben stand in front of the wind every time if that becomes an issue. So hopefully that works out. So I just want to share that with you guys. All right. Martha says, the guys in Millstone Running told me all the running stores are frustrated with supply chain delays. For example, they got in their Sky Plus, but only in a couple of sizes, and they're still waiting for the rest. Yeah, I mean, it's got to be frustrating because it's like people that are like begging for shoes, which is like, as a running store, that's what you want. And if they're not there, that's got to be a bummer. Jody says, only just over 17 weeks to the Chicago Marathon. We'll be having a shakeout run, fit around the 5K race. It usually ends up being the exact same time of it. So, I'm going to say it probably will be the same again this year. My buddy is running it. We just talked the other day. He's going to try to run a 3:20, so I'm going to try to pace him for that. Not sure what shoe I'm going to be wearing, but I have a couple of exciting ideas. So there's that. And then I can't really, I don't know if I can announce it yet, but I might be able to run the New York Marathon. And so, I mean, I was already planning on going either way, but I might be able to run it. And Megan is running it, Megan Murray, and Ben Johnson. And I think Ben Johnson is. And so Megan's like, all right, well, we're going to run sub 3 at New York. I'm like, I don't really want to try to go for sub 3 in New York. She's like, once you break 3 and you're going to break 3 on this at grandma's, you're going to find out how easy it is to keep doing it. I'm like, most people that break 3 say the opposite, that it's not like something you just easily do once you get it the first time. And she's like, no, you're going to be fine. And I think she just really wants someone to run with her, so she's not running by herself. And I'm like, at 3 hours, you're not running by yourself. But so we may be running buddies for that race. So that could be fun. Although, like, if I'm going to run New York, I'm thinking a good 3. I'm thinking there's no shame in running New York in a 3:15. Make it nice and easy. Have a really fun time. Because New York, there's so much that happens socially, that weekend. So I feel like have a lot of fun. Really enjoy the race. Still run hard, but focus a little bit more on social. So we'll see. We'll see. Vincent Veneri says, isn't it cool to walk around in shoes nobody else has? I still enjoy that. I thought I would get over that, but I do enjoy it in a lot of ways. Maybe that's petty. I don't know. All right. Lou says, are you doing New York City? I think so. I'm working on it. I'll be there either way. So I'll definitely be there, but hopefully I'll be able to run it. And Jody says, having a pacer for 3 hours that may just be the thing that you need to get the time. Yeah. So we were talking about it, and I was thinking, I'd like to start out at 90 minutes and then, sneak up on the 3 hours in the second half. And then Megan was like, no, don't do that. You can run like a 2:56. And I'm like, well, I don't think so. And I don't have to run at 2:56. I only care about getting like the 2:59:59. She's like, don't make yourself all anxious about it. You'd much rather feel like you have it in the back. I'm like, I'm not going to try to bank time. I don't know about that. She's like, go out in 1:29. and then crank it down after that. I'm like, well, maybe that's a little bit more reasonable. So I don't know. I think that I'm going to try to have Ben help me find tangents. I'm really bad at tangents. If you look at any of my runs, like it takes me like 26.8 miles to run a marathon. So it's like, I don't know what I'm doing. I think it's because I try to veer away from the pack every time I got the camera out. So not every time, but a lot of times. And so that might be part of it, but maybe I need help. Ben's run that course many times. So I'm going to see if maybe he can help me with tangents. So that maybe that's what it is too. But I also think that having someone that can be like, too fast, I feel like that's what he's going to be saying for the entire day. Too fast, until I was like, I need someone to like hold me back the first half and then crack the whip the second half. So yeah. So we'll see. Luke Klein says, got any Buckeyes left? Yeah, I bought a box of Buckeyes. I got them at the airport. They're very easy. Buckeyes are easy to find in Columbus, Ohio. And I finished that before I left Columbus. Those were done in like an hour. I ate those almost in one sitting. There was like 16 or maybe 20 of them, 2 in a serving. I ate maybe 8 to 10 servings. Yeah. Jody says, get Megan to hold the camera and film for you. You get the money shots. I mean, for New York, I mean, she's broken 3. I think she wants to run under 3. That's what she told me for New York. I don't think there's any, like, I don't know if she's trying to get under 3 hours at all the majors or what. But I'm like, there's no benefit if I run under 3 hours to New York. Other than, like, bragging rights, I guess. And I'm just not that interested in that. So I just want to have a good race. Run hard. Feel like I tried. But, like, I don't need to go up to that knife's edge, I think. Thomas says, I should have bought a second box of Buckeyes for Baltimore. I should have bought, yeah, you're right. I should have brought a couple of boxes and brought them to the party. I showed up empty-handed. I feel bad. But yeah, that would have been a good idea. Luke Klein said the ASICS meetup looked great. It was a big turnout. I know most of those people weren't there for me. Some people were, which was great. Someone had me sign their shoes, which I'd never signed shoes before, so that was pretty cool. I was like, where do I sign this? Like, where do you want me to sign it? I could sign it on the midsole, but like, depending on how you run, that might rub off. But I'm like, no, people write on their midsoles all the time. But then she was like, well, maybe write on the upper. So I wrote on the upper on someone's shoes. So that was the first time I've ever done that. That was fun. Luke Klein says, you should race Grandma and treat New York City as a long, fast run. Yeah, so like here's the plan. Like I'm hoping, I'd really like to be able to knock out sub 3 at Grandma's. I feel good. I don't feel like I've been training very hard for Grandma's, but I feel like I've been hopefully training a bit smarter. And I think I'm there. If I can get that taken care of, then like Chicago, New York, probably run CIM. I'll at least go to CIM. I don't know if I'll race it again, but if I'm going to go all the way out there, it's a point-to-point race that's hard to spectate. Might as well run. So I think then I have like 3 fun, just once a month, run a marathon for fun. And that sounds like a really great fall. So that's kind of the plan, loosely the plan. So we'll see. But then it's like if I don't get 3 hours at Grandma's, then it's like, all right, well, then one of those should probably be a sub 3 attempt. Chicago, I'm already going to be pacing my buddy. And then New York is hilly. And then Grandma's is tough because it's after the running event. So it's like, I don't know. Martha says, Co, you can probably increase your Boston buffer at Grandma's. I mean, hopefully I don't need much more of a buffer. I've already got 9 minutes and 11 seconds on it. But, if I get getting sub 3, getting under 3 hours is the goal in and of itself. I'm not that much worried about how much more likely it'll make it for me to get into Boston. you know, so, but, you know, that is a nice benefit too. CV76 says, McDuck, train smarter, not harder. Yeah. Hopefully I'm training smarter. It feels like I'm training less, but I know it's not less. It's just smarter, I think. Where'd the other one go? Lou says, if you aren't ready for the bridges, the hills in New York, it'll be tough. Yeah, I know. I'm going to have to get that sorted. I'm going to have to figure out a way to do that. I mean, I feel like, you know, I need to go back to visit my parents. So I could just actually go. But you can't do the Verrazano Bridge. I don't think there's a running route across that. But you can run across, which one bridge is it Queensboro Bridge you run across? I think you can run across that one regularly, you know, so yeah. So I'll have to do some practicing, and then otherwise I could probably just find some other hills to practice on. I mean, I think that every time I go back to Iowa, there's that big hill in Guttenberg. It's more than half a mile long. It's about 300 to 400 feet, I think. Maybe not that much. I'll have to double check that. But it's between a half mile, maybe not more than 3/4 of a mile long. I think it's like a 7% grade, so whatever that equates to. I feel like that one would be a good one to just have a day where I just run up and down it. If I do that like 10 times, that's a pretty good day. That'd be brutal. But yeah, so I think that's some ways I can train. I don't think that you need to do, well, yeah, I don't know that I would need to train for it, like go back to Iowa every month. But a couple of sessions, I mean, I go back to Iowa all the time in the summer, so yeah. Stuart is asking about Boulder and Denver. I got to get that sorted out. It's just like there's so much travel coming up. Well, now there's 2 trips already out of the way, Columbus and Baltimore. So like that kind of decreases the mental load, but I definitely need to start like reaching out to some locals that are out there to see if we can get some running in. I got to confirm with ASICS what my what the event is going to be, like when and where that's going to be. They told me, but of course, for some reason, I didn't write it down. I should have written it down. But so I'll confirm that. And then I'll have a couple of days from that event, because that event, I think, is the 29th. I can't remember if that's my travel day or if that's the date of the event or both. And then I'll have a couple of days before I leave for Mammoth Lakes. So I think I'll have like 2 or 3 days. So we can do I think we could try to do a meetup like every day and do some running. And then maybe meet up in the evenings too. Because I don't know. I don't live, it's like I'd be out there to meet you guys and hang out. So we'll have to figure it out. I've been keeping a lot of the Denver area, Boulder area pros have been talking about the places they like to eat lately. So I'm just like taking mental notes. But as we just discussed, I probably should write some of this stuff down so I don't forget. Yeah. So, but I'm going to try to reach out and see if I can get some runs scheduled with some people. Try to create some content out there, that kind of thing. So we'll see. I gotta start thinking about that. So it's taper week. So hopefully that means I have time because I'm running less. Whether or not I'll have the mental energy to start planning. I'm so bad at planning. So I just got to figure it out. All right. Eric says, let us Colorado folks know in the next mukbang. Yeah, for sure. That'll be my goal, to make sure I have information, because by then it's only a week out. So hopefully I'll have information that I can kind of distribute sooner than that. But yeah, because I'll have grandma's, then a weekend at home, and then I think I leave on a Tuesday or something. So yeah, so we'll figure it out. Maybe we could do some outside dining. If some of you guys want to get together, that kind of thing. So I will make it a priority to start thinking about that. 022 says, "Hey, Co, got the chat late. Was curious if you caught the WWDC event on the Apple Watch and your thoughts on the running power and metrics that they're adding." Someone else asked that question too. Thank you for bringing that up. I apologize to the person that originally asked the question. So running power from the watch makes a lot of sense. I think that's great. Here's my only concern with that on the Apple Watch, and it's always like I still run with an Apple Watch every day. I'm testing the Garmin 255 music. Still have an Apple Watch on the other wrist. And that's because I like to be able to text from it in case I need help. Like if I'm stranded somewhere and I need someone to come pick me up. Usually not a problem here in Chicago, but when I'm running, like in Guttenberg, Iowa, or in New Vienna, could be a concern. On some of those longer routes, I could just be like, text my wife and be like, "Can you come get me? I'm by, such and such farm," kind of thing. And I listen to music and podcasts that way. I could do that on the Garmin 255, I think, but that's just not how that's my setup, is to have the Apple Watch. The reason why I don't do the running on the Apple Watch is because of the battery. So the battery, the Apple Watch itself, if you're not using it for GPS tracking already, then it'll last people like a day. And then you're supposed to do all the sleep tracking on it, which I think is great. But then when you charge the watch, it's just like the battery is a problem on the Apple Watch. And like, I'll probably get the next one when it comes out in the fall or whenever the next one is. But I'm like not convinced that it's like a running watch that I want to use. Because it's one thing if the battery is low. Fine, I could get used to and train myself to charge it more frequently. And I guess this is not really answering the question directly that you're talking about, but my ultimate point is that like they can add all this stuff, but until they fix the battery problem, it's just not going to be the app for me. Because that's one thing is like, I can just make sure my battery is always topped up. They can increase the charge speed, all that stuff. Great for other people, but for running, it's a problem. Because when it's the winter time, the Apple Watch is really susceptible to battery degradation due to the cold. So like you've all seen it with your phones when you're outside in the winter, like it could be 100% inside, but then like the moment you go outside and it's 30 degrees or lower, the battery just drops down because batteries don't work well in cold. If the battery shuts down because it's too cold, or in other words, if the watch thinks it's run out of battery, the apps that I used before, and maybe they've changed now, but I used to use iRun 26.2 or Run Outdoors. I think those were the ones that I used. If your watch dies, it just dies. It doesn't write what it has so far and save that and then die. It just dies. Most running watches, if they're dying because the battery's dead, which is very rare, on like a watch that has 7-day battery life. But if it does happen, it usually saves what you've got so far and then dies. It knows to do that. But like, I don't know if that's a problem with the apps or if that's a problem with the watch or what. But that's happened to me a couple of times with the Apple Watch. And I was like, I got to get a real running watch. Real in air quotes. So that's a problem. But I think, the power, it makes a very compelling argument for a lot of runners. And I think that like my running buddy bought an Apple Watch for his running watch. He used to run with like a Fitbit, but did he buy an Apple Watch? I thought he bought an Apple Watch. I'm not positive on that, but that wouldn't surprise me if that's what he got. But I think it's a very usable watch. And for a lot of people, I think that's going to be enough. But I had a lot of problems with that Apple Watch, especially when using it with a FootPod in an urban area. So like I just had a lot of little issues with it. I have an Apple Watch 4. It does get updates still. So, but like the age of the watch can be exacerbating my frustrations with it. That's possible, but I'm just never super excited about Apple Watch until they're like, it has 4-day battery. I'm probably not going to be like, this is the one and only one watch that I need. I still need 2. So sorry. That was a really long rant about it. Sorry about that. Kelly wants to know, would it help to keep the watch tucked inside the cuff of a jacket, which might help it keep warm against the skin? It helps, but it doesn't solve the problem. Because like when I'm running with it into winter, I do keep it tucked underneath my watch, my jacket. It never needs to come out at all. But mine still dies due to cold weather, even in 40 degrees at this point, because it's a 3-year-old battery or 2-year-old battery, however old that battery is. So that's kind of what's going on. So that's what it is. I would love the Apple Watch. I love the Apple Watch. I use it every day. But I can't use it as my only. That's the only problem. So I use it as a very expensive phone alternative for running. I wouldn't recommend people do that, but I happen to have the Apple Watch. So that's what I use it for. So. All right. Sorry I went really long on that one. We went long for the day, but we just had a lot to talk about today. It was such a big weekend. I will work on plans for Denver. I have some plans for Grandma's weekend. I'll talk about them tomorrow. Oh, no live stream tomorrow. I'll talk about them Wednesday. Or I'll probably put a community post out too, just because Wednesday might be a little bit late. But we'll do something in Duluth for those that you're going to be out there. So I won't see you guys again till Wednesday. We'll have a video and a live stream, and that'll be the last one for the week, just because again there's travel. So, a lot of stuff going on. Glad I could check in with you guys today. All right, until I see you guys again, be safe out there, everybody. Thanks.